Hi, and welcome to training module 7.15. So in 7.15, we'll continue the process from 7.1 where we completed bunk calls from the feeding app. If you remember from the feeding app, we created our bunk calls and we updated the feeding app to the cloud. So from that point, we need to go to the accounting app, or what is basically the website, and go through the process of creating our loads for the day. So you can see here on my iPad's home screen, I have two icons with the Big Game logo. The one on the right here is the Beef Books feeding app, and the one on the left I have labeled as Beef Books Accounting. So I've made my calls from the feeding app here on the right. At this point, I would go to the app on the left, select that. And it should bring me to my active groups page. Now I will say I do have instructions on how to get the accounting website or app on your home screen as an icon, and how to bring you automatically to active groups. And I can post those on YouTube as well. So from here, we see our active groups. So we want to go right to mixer loads. So over here on the bottom left, you see mixer loads. So click on that. And up here on the top right, there's two options. Copy yesterday's loads, which will work if the previous day's scheduled loads were loaded and delivered successfully, or we can start from scratch by the Create Mixer Load tab here on the right. So by clicking that, it brings up the Mixer Load Wizard, which you can see here, there's 3 steps. So as I said, if yesterday's were loaded and delivered successfully, you can use that copy feature, but they also should show up here auto-filled unless you made some changes. So here I'm just going to fill my last couple pens. Pick my mixer. And when I'm done going through this, I'll explain them each. So the idea is that when you come in here, from the left to right, you have the pen name. So here we have pen 9. We have 159 head in pen 9. We want to feed ration 3 of template BB0719. And we're going to use mixer, which I have labeled here Mixer 1, and we called for 12.5 pounds of dry matter on the feeding app. So left to right, we have pen 11 on the next row, 99 head, called for 8 pounds, and then we have 15, pen 15, 73 head, and you can see here it repeats itself. So obviously the more pens you have, the fuller this page becomes. But I assure you that with time, you'll get comfortable with it. And like I said, as long as we deliver successfully, these fields should autofill. And I do understand that in the real world on a feedlot, not everything goes as planned, but if everything goes well, hopefully you have to put in minimal information here. So we have step 1 of 3 completed. We would hit calculate here on the bottom right, and that's going to convert those dry matter calls to as fed pounds for the day. You can see here we have a success, feed calls calculated. You click on that, it'll go away. Hit next page. Now we're on step 2 of 3. So in step 2, at first glance, can seem a little overwhelming, but if you take time to go through each pen list here and digest the information, all we're really doing is we're configuring the splits here as it says up on top. But what we're doing is we're sequencing our pens to which load we want them to be fed on. So you can see here I've got pen 9, which is to be fed ration 3, pen 11, which is to be fed ration 6, and then I've got pen 15 and 16, which are to be fed ration 1, and pen 20, I've got ration 4. So you'll notice here that pen 9, 11, 15, 16 are all split 50-50. So that goes back to the group setting where we've set that group up to twice a day feeding. So the first time it's going to automatically default to a 50-50 split. And it's got them split to 8 and 4. That doesn't mean that we have to feed at 8 and 4. It's just saying that we're going to have a set of 8 a.m. loads for the morning and a set of 4 p.m. loads for the afternoon. You can see here down at the bottom, we've got pen 20. We've got that set up in the group settings as once a day. So it's going to default to 100% at 8 a.m. in the morning. So if you had, in this example, you've got pen 15 and 16, which we want to feed ration 1. And if those both fit on the same load, they're going to be batched together. But for whatever reason, we want them to be fed separately on separate loads. We would leave pen 15 at 8 and 4, and pen 16 we could change to 9 and 5. So when you click on that drop down here next to the pen, it's going to allow you to pick a time. And then we wanted to feed 75, 25. We can fill in that field here until we've got everything set the way we want. So if we're satisfied with the changes we've made or no changes need to be made, we can continue to step 3 by hitting execute down here in the bottom right. And it's going to bring you to step 3, which is configure loads. So this is really basically an overview of the loads that we scheduled. It's kind of a last chance to review what we're going to mix for today and make any changes if we need to. So to break it down, we have ration demands, which tells us the pounds as fed of each ration that are to be mixed and delivered today. And then it's going to break it down further by pens. We have ration demands and pen demands. So pen demands just say that we owe pen 9 1,513 pounds, or 1,513 pounds, sorry, of ration 3 for our morning load. And we owe it 1,514 pounds of ration 3 for our afternoon load. So as we scroll down, you'll see we have the mixer load breakdown. So this is just going to outline the pounds as fed for each load, or each pen. And you can do 2 things here. You can either override a value. So you can see pen here, pen 15 down here for the afternoon, we've got 318 pounds. For whatever reason, we want to override that value. You can click in that white box, hit the delete button, and put in a specific amount, or you can hit the red trash can to remove a load. So there we just overrode pen 15 to 500 pounds, and for whatever reason, we had to delete one. We have that option. So just for an example, here we have pen 16, which we've got 217 pounds scheduled for the morning, and we've got 218 pounds scheduled for the afternoon. So if I wanted to, and decided I wanted to feed them once a day, I could delete this bottom load and override this value here. So we want to put in 420 pounds. And if we're done, we can hit update. And then it's just gonna ask us to verify that we made changes. Do we want to continue anyways? Select yes. So now you can see success, feeding plans created. So now we're in the mixer load window of the app, and you can see here we have a number of scheduled loads. We've got a couple options here. There's set ingredient order. You can select that, and it's going to pull up the ingredients that are in that load of ration 3. And to rearrange those, we would take our finger and select, press and hold until that pops out. And if we wait too long, it'll retract. So press and hold and slide to where you want that ingredient to be in mix order. So again, press and hold and place it where you see fit. And if satisfied, hit update. Now that ingredient order should have updated. The other thing we can do here, and this will be shown in more detail in a following module, but the edit button, which is right here next to ingredient order, if you select that, we can change the template and the ration. So instead of ration 3, we decided we want to bump those cattle to ration 4. Simply change that. And then down here at the bottom, hit save and calculate. And it's going to recalculate those ingredient scheduled amounts based off the as-fed amount allocated. Then you can hit go back. And now you can see we've gone from ration 3 to 4. So that concludes 7.15, which we created mixer loads based off bunk reads made from the app. In 7.2, we'll go through how to manually load and deliver feed from the feeding app.